the reality is that particularly in the second half of the 20th century, short as answers it can be given, with the liturgical renewal movement, which most folks are aware of, at least through the changes that happened in the Roman Catholic Church through Vatican II. Early liturgies were discovered, and all across Anglicanism, the 1662 Book of Common Prayer, which was the standard, which was used everywhere, was suddenly replaced by new liturgies. And as the International Anglican Liturgical Consultation in 1995 said, the most that could be said that united us was a pattern of worship. There were 5 things we all did in common. We gathered, we heard and responded to the word. We had the prayers of the people. We gathered around the table, and we were sent into the world. That's not nearly as good as the Reformation Eucharistic canon in the 1662 book. What happened here, which is so significant and which everybody seated here today was a part of, was the preparation of the 2019 Book of Common Prayer. Not only took what the liturgical renewal of the late 20th century gave us, that is what we call the renewed ancient text, but it worked very hard at repositioning the historic text, which drew the whole communion together in the what was it called, Marcus?
The Anglican Standard Text?
Anglican Standard Text, yeah. What will be very interesting to see, and certainly we hoped in the prayer book renewal, what will be very interesting to see as other provinces look again at the next iteration of their prayer books, whether they, as Anglicans, realize that they've also got to include the Anglican Standard Text, no matter what their renewed ancient form is, as a way to anchor us in what Anglicans have always believed, not just how Anglicans have always worshipped.
I would add one thing, which is I think there are 2 things that are going on. One, that we do have a number of congregations that are using liturgies they got when they were under the authority of overseas provinces. And I think fundamentally that's a good thing. I don't think it will last forever, but it reminds us of the fact that we're part of a larger communion. And even just identifying that we're using, say, the Kenyan liturgy raises the right questions. Is why would we use that? And the answer is they're Anglicans along with us. But I think the other thing is that the new book, the 2019 book, is now the instrument that's weaning us away from those of us who were part of a former outfit, because we can now own our own identity, having our own prayer book. And I think that's a very healthy thing. And I also think that the new prayer book is eminently more usable than what we had before.
I think there's a danger in some quarters to become liturgical legalists. And if folks don't worship or use the prayer book the way we use the prayer book, then that's not really Anglican. And if you look in our Anglican history, there's always been this tension between the Anglo-Catholic and the evangelical, or most always. And some are high church, low church, all in between. And now in where we live, we have the charismatic thrown in as well as more contemporary. And but you'll find they're all adhering to the rubrics. And so the key is to know the rubrics of the prayer book.
Right.
And then it gives you what kind of latitude you can and can't have. And this new prayer book is so wonderful. And I think people are falling in love with it all over the province.
Mm-hmm.
One of the great things about this prayer book, it was a privilege to be part of a process that was so iterative. It really, I mean, we spent years collecting input from the province. And so rather than being directive, it's reflective of our province. And so the breadth there in the prayer book is, I mean, some of the folks who might want to complain about things in the province are actually complaining about the province. It reflects the province we have, not the one, nobody's trying to create something that's not there through that prayer book.
Mm-hmm. That's right.